we are going to move now further north to the Lebanon front, and we're going to show you some maps to set up the Lebanon front here. The first map will give you a sense of where the main targeting is. That's the border. The red area is the area south of the Litani River. That's 40 kilometers north of the border. We're going to call it the border just for simplicity. It's not a border. It's a blue line, demarcation line. But you can see the overwhelming focus of the attacks is from the Litani River down to the southern demarcation line. But also you can see all through Beirut and Baalbek in the Bekaa Valley also being targeted, Christian villages being targeted, massacres being carried out all the time. Hezbollah yesterday, 20 operations, 18 of them in historic Palestine, 145 kilometers deep, 100 airstrikes a day by the Israeli Air Force. And we're going to look at this in number 11 here as a battle damage map that's showing you where they're concentrating. So 5 miles, the 5 miles distinction they're making is double the furthest point that Israel has crossed the border in this vaunted ground maneuver. Although they have said it's been delimited, they are not moving across the border in any significant way. But what they are doing is destroying from the air and from artillery all of these villages like Ait Tashab, which is a 400-year-old, 400-year-old village. And many of those villages are newer along the border. Some of them literally like 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐄𝐥𝐞𝐜 that you'll see up at the top. It's literally attached to the border. That's what they're destroying. And 50% of the buildings in the darkened area means 50% of the buildings in the entire town are erased. And that has happened mostly in the last 2 weeks. If we look at the next one, you can see this is the classic Israeli satellite eraser, satellite imaging of them just erasing people's villages, people's lives. These can be rebuilt. They will be rebuilt. Hezbollah has a reconstruction and construction unit in its organization. These places will all be rebuilt. But right now, Israel's priority is destroying them. 6,000 buildings alone in 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐄𝐥𝐜, and that is a place that we're going to focus on. If we look at this next map, that's just the before and after of the damage. So this is by the Institute for the Study of War, and these were the guys that CNN said were forensic when they reported on what we have been reporting on since October when they did it once. But this is a very exaggerated map showing how far the Israelis have crossed the border, and the map there, no spot is more than 4 kilometers. And that is not forward operating positions. Israel is not having positions in those spots. They're moving forward. They get contact. They withdraw. They're not setting their forces up in places like we see in Jabalia, where they're setting up their forces inside Jabalia. That is not happening in any of the villages. 6 weeks into this war, and none of that has happened in any of the villages. In the western sector, the 142nd Division, Hezbollah said yesterday, there hasn't been a cross-border move by the 146th Division since the 28th of October. On the eastern edge, 26 operations by Hezbollah targeting Maroun al-Ras, which is on the right-hand side of that map. You can see Maroun al-Ras, again, on the edges of these. And then the next map will show you the Galilee Panhandle, where the 91st Division is operating. And it's important to note, Israeli newspaper 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐄𝐥𝐿 the other day reported that the Israelis have deployed over 50,000 troops, 5 divisions to the border, and the Israeli military has yet to capture even a single village, 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐄𝐥𝐿 said. Hezbollah has told us that too, but here you get it from the Israelis. They have failed to secure a foothold anywhere in the area. What that means is they're returning to the border. They're not staying in Lebanon. They're returning to the border. And they're getting hit really hard. They're getting hit in batches of 5. They're losing soldiers in batches of 5. One example, 4 soldiers peered into a tunnel shaft in South Lebanon and they expected to be empty. They were wrong. Hezbollah militants hiding inside detonated explosive devices, tossed hand grenades, and the Israelis came under fire. 9 killed, 15 19 injured. We saw the one last week where fighters took over a house right on the edge of town. They took over the house to make it a forward position, their first forward position of the 6-week war. And Hezbollah came up from the basement and fought them in the stairwell of the house. 5 injured, 16 injured, 5 killed in that, and they withdrew. So that is the theme of what you're looking at on this advance. This is the ground maneuver. If anyone is telling you, if you're reading in the newspaper that Israel is invading Lebanon and that they're having a ground maneuver inside Lebanon, it's not true. It's not true. You're looking at these maps. You're hearing it from their own newspapers, from their own military statements, that they do not have a single village. They are on the outskirts of the village. And listen to what Army radio reporter said when he got back from Lebanon. What can be learned about the ground maneuver in southern Lebanon from the IDF spokesman announcements that are officially published every morning during the last few weeks, which is what I base my work on, along with Hezbollah's. Until 2 weeks ago, the IDF reported every morning 4 divisions operating in southern Lebanon, 91st, 146, 98, 36. Later, several days, the IDF reported every morning 3 divisions operating in South Lebanon. Last week, from Monday to Friday, the IDF reported one morning 2 divisions operating in southern Lebanon, 91st and 146th. On Saturday, the IDF reported that 1 division, the 91st, is operating in South Lebanon. Yesterday and today, they reported 2 divisions attempted to cross the border. So we've been told there's 5 divisions on the border that are invading Lebanon, that are carrying out ground maneuvers. It's just not true. It's not happened yet. It may happen, but it still has not happened yet. The most that they have moved is 3 to 4 kilometers on the outskirts of the town of 𝐓𝐡𝐞, which has the most forested land in front of it. So you're being told lies if you are being told that Israel is moving forward. They're simply not moving forward. Hezbollah said, "Where are you guys?" in their field report yesterday. It's like, where are you guys? Anyways, number 15 here is what they are doing, right? This is what Israel always does. They're attacking the hospitals. They're killing the paramedics. They're destroying the ambulances. This is only up until October 23rd. They're doing it every day. Every single day, Amal, the Shia movement, releases their health reporter stats, and 2, 3, 5, 7 paramedics killed a day in double tap strikes. Israel strikes a civilian target. The paramedics run to help, and Israel strikes the paramedics. So even CNN, I left this one in just to be like, even CNN knows it. They're not fighting fighters. They won't fight face to face. They bomb from the air. They fire artillery, and they're great at attacking hospitals, killing paramedics. And yeah, it's just unbelievable. But that's the setup for the resistance report from Lebanon. So let's start at number 16. Hezbollah has been playing on this. Their psychological operations in these last 2 weeks since you saw me last have been pretty solid. So this is a psychological operation that says, in 1982, you reached Beirut in 7 days. In 2006, you reached Wadi Hajar in 33 days. Wadi Hajar was the graveyard of the Merkava. What ended the war. And as for today, this is what's counting, what you're seeing counting. Oh, this is the 33rd day. But now watch what they do here. They're saying, here we go. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, 0 kilometers from the border. Day 20, 0 kilometers from the border. Day 26, 0 kilometers from the border. Day 40, or day 26, escaping soldiers, retreating soldiers that you're going to see here. 13, 14, 15, and then they say day 40, you're still fighting on the outskirts of the border villages, and then they leave it. They say between us and you is the battlefield. So these psychological operations, Hezbollah, since you last saw me, Hezbollah carried out 300 qualitative operations, and that means an 80 rocket barrage counts as one qualitative, we'll call it one operation of 300. If they send 20 drones, it counts as one operation. 300 distinct operations, 25 a day being carried out. They're firing 200 rockets a day. They've killed 100 Israeli soldiers. They've destroyed 20 tanks, at least half that we've seen, 2 APCs. So this battle is ongoing. And I'm going to set up each of these next parts with a psychological operation and then the operation itself. So let's look at number 17. This is an operation in 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐄𝐥𝐞𝐜. This is where they've destroyed 80% of the village. This village is attached to the border. And you don't see tanks, right? We never see tanks, very rarely see tanks, because they're not doing tank maneuvers. They're moving gingerly across the border with their troops, moving into these positions. So we're watching here soldiers moving around into their base. Now look on the roof. They're going to pop up a Israeli flag, massive Israeli flag, just so that the entire south of Lebanon knows what building the soldiers are in. Here, guys. They can't get it up. They're struggling with it, but they want to put it up to take a TikTok video. And then they want that video to go back to Israel to be like, look, we're in villages in South Lebanon, when they're not. They're not in these villages. 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐄𝐥𝐜 is right on the border, like literally attached to the border. Anyways, you can see them move around here. And once again, this required an edit from me. I edited out the explosion of the cornet hitting these soldiers. Suffice it to say, it hit them. I edited it out, and what you're going to see happen is the Israeli military firing a smoke screen to cover their wounded soldiers that I edited out, and that is what you're seeing. So if YouTube thinks that that's the explosion, it's not. The explosion is removed, and the explosion that you see is the Israeli military firing. So we can see here, there's the cornet. There's the cornet anti-tank the anti-tank guided missile flying into the circle. And then we don't show the hit, but we're going to see the Israelis fire a smoke screen to cover it. So don't confuse that and say that we didn't edit this video, YouTube, because we very diligently vet and edit these videos to strictly adhere to community guidelines. Yeah, so that's a cornet fired from 4 kilometers away. So if the Israelis were 4 kilometers into Lebanon, then they would be at where that cornet is, but they're not, and they're getting hit. And there was at least, well, actually, this operation was interesting because the IDF did not acknowledge any dead within 6 days of this operation. So they're covering it up. Number 18. Number 18 is another PSYOP. Here, this is a new feature in Palestine, looking up and seeing drones. This is a drone PSYOP. We're hearing in Hebrew on this video, Israelis looking up and saying like, look, a drone. Another one says, a drone. Someone says, oh my God. They're pointing up in the air at the drone. Someone says, how come the helicopter can't catch it? How come it can't see it? Then there's a fighter jet you see come through there. The other guy says, here's a drone. God knows where it's going. Keep looking up. These are all in Hebrew. They're for the Israelis. It's a psychological operation. It's a video produced of their people reacting to the drones. There's the helicopters that can't find the video or can't find the drone. So yeah, that was, and its finish is keep looking up. And number 19 just shows you that these are daily fixtures in Israel. These drones flying over and people on the drone being like, there it is, like, oh my God, pointing and putting their cameras up. And these are separate drones. They're all over. They're flying all over Palestine, looking for Israeli military targets hitting strategic objectives. In this, this is a new feature of life in Israel. It started before the war, but it really, or it started before this escalation of the war. It's been going on for the most of the past year, but not to this level. This is completely new. Number 20, I'll show you a bunch of drone strikes that they're pointing out. Again, Hezbollah is using these maps to show you not just that they have all this intelligence, but showing you where they're hitting, that these are targeting strategic objectives, military bases that are on the map. Their target acquisition department is picking the targets that are not civilian targets. These could be raining down on Tel Aviv. They're not. The Israelis can't find these. They can't find the drones all kinds of times when you watch. If you watch the military field reports, the Israelis are saying there's a drone over the Galilee. We're looking for it. Like they literally say, like, we can't find it. We're looking for it. We have multiple assets in the air trying to locate it. And then they'll, post 15 minutes later, the drone impacted. We're not sure where it impacted. They're chasing their tails on these. They're not able to knock them out. So then this is an operation where you use the drones to deflect the attention of the Israelis, and then you fire these more qualitative Nasser 2 guided missiles. So these are precision guided missiles, 302 millimeter with a 150 kilo warhead. And they're all targeting bases. They're targeting Al-Yaqam base, Ain Shemer, which is an old Royal Air Force base in the north. They're targeting Ramat David Air Base. The maps show the maps that Hezbollah is showing you are showing you their intelligence, their level of detail that they have in the intelligence. It's always remarkable to point that out, what they're doing. And their last operation is going to be against the 𝐓𝐡𝐞 military base. And here we're seeing, that's one. Can we go, did 20 finish? Okay. This is 21. This is Hezbollah knocking a Hermes 900 out of the sky. We'll loop it around one more time because I was caught off guard. No, I don't need 20 again. It's no problem. I'm just going to give you the drone stats. So this video begins with a patch. Let's see that patch. It says the air defense unit of the Islamic resistance. And it says, we have made a canopy in the sky, like a metaphor for a defensive shield, an anti-access area denial shield that they have created. And here they are downing the flagship drone made by 𝐓𝐡𝐞 for the IDF, for the Israeli Air Force. And this is another one being shot down since October 1st. 4 Hermes 450 and 2 Hermes 900 have been shot down. I just want to give you the numbers from the last one because the number 20 ended on an attack on 𝐓𝐡𝐞, which is where the Mossad base, Amman military intelligence base, and Unit 8200, the key signals intelligence base. So that is a very significant target that they have been hitting before. And then so Israel wrote this recently. According to fresh IDF data, 1,300 drones have been launched at Israel amid the war from all fronts, from Lebanon, Gaza, Iraq, Syria, Yemen, and Iran. The IDF says 231 of the drones struck Israel. And they say here, this is the key, Hezbollah forces currently are left with less than 30% of the drones it had before the war, thought to be hundreds. Well, we've seen hundreds be fired, so that's ridiculous. The Israelis say to Khan News, their national broadcaster, they say the army deploys soldiers at observation posts along the border now to watch for the drones with their eyes, which is what we saw them doing in the bunker of the evacuated village of Metula when 60 Minutes took us on a tour in there that I showed you. So yeah, the Israelis are telling their population that there's down to 30% of Hezbollah's drone capacity. It's just not true. First of all, they don't know the number of drones. But second of all, Hezbollah can resupply during the war. That's a crucial distinction in this battle that doesn't exist for Gaza. Gaza is under siege. They can't resupply in the traditional sense. They can resupply by reusing unexploded ordnance, but they can't resupply in the traditional sense. So that's double mistake by the Israelis. And then after this one, we've got another PSYOP, because we're going to see here the motorcycles. These dirt bikes are synonymous with Hezbollah. And here they are ripping through another underground missile base. This is the 𝐓𝐡𝐞 missile base. I've shown you on the show the 𝐓𝐡4, but they ride their motorcycles under it. They have their truck launched. Heavy caliber missiles are launched from these underground positions. There's audio in this video that's Sheikh Hassan, that's Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah. saying, "We are here. We cannot be weakened. We cannot be afraid. We will never surrender. We are here. We will never leave the battlefield. We will never lay down our weapons." And you see the rockets launched at Haifa Bay here from underneath the ground. You see the ground opening up. And Israel says that they've destroyed 80% of Hezbollah's rockets. It's just absurd. They have these underground missile bases that are not knocked out. Even if you knocked out 80% of the above ground, that's a fraction of these underground launchers. And look at the size of the missiles that they launch from these sites. So this is a PSYOP video that says, we're here. We're here on the battlefield. We won't leave the battlefield. We will not lay down our weapons. And like I said, in these barrages, they're firing 80 and 90 rockets in a single barrage. 200 rockets a day by Hezbollah is a number that is consistent throughout the last many months. They've been firing between 150 and 200 rockets. So yeah, when 𝐄𝐥𝐞 𝐄𝐿 left, he said that they had less than 20% of their rocket capability. It's just completely untrue. And these PSYOP videos, psychological operations aimed at Israelis, the Lebanese like to see them as well, but these are aimed. That's why it's Hebrew. This is just classic Hezbollah to put these videos right into the Israeli public. And showing you these missiles, and showing you, just like to note, these missiles could be rained down on Tel Aviv. They could be rained down on Israeli cities, and they're not. Hezbollah is not doing that. They're hitting military targets, despite the fact that 3,000 Lebanese have been killed. They're killing 200 children. There's 1 million people displaced. The honor in their force is still to not massacre civilians like Israel does. And they watch in Gaza, and they watch in their own neighborhoods in Beirut. They watched it happen to their own leader and his family and family members all around the Dahia, that they do hit that. So 23 is that was a psychological operation, and this is an actual operation. This is the first, this is a debut of the Fatah 110 missile. This is fired at Tel Aviv to a site just south of Ben Gurion Airport, a Srifin camp, a key Israeli military camp. The key details of the Fatah 110, we've known they had them for a long time, but you can see it's a pretty formidable missile. It's a solid fuel, precision guided, 500 kilogram warhead, 300 kilometer range, launched from the underground missile base. So it has the explosive capability of a 2,000 pound Israeli bomb, which is what Israel rains down on tent camps in Garabala these days and Jabalia. But Hezbollah has these, and for these to enter the battle, we've been waiting for this. Not totally sure why they wait so long. I think they, like Naim Qassem, the leader, said in a speech the other day that they're prepared for a long war of attrition. So they're playing it carefully still. And then there's these are settler cameras showing you the strikes on the Srifan camp. Didn't get that. But yeah, and then number 24, this is the last one for Hezbollah. This is another underground launch of Fadi and Nasser rockets at the Israeli Air Forces. So you can see that's launched from the underground launcher, again, targeting the Israeli Air Force Technical College of Aviation, so like the training school. So these are strategic targets that are being hit. On Monday, 200 rockets were fired, 6 soldiers critically wounded in rocket fire on Metula, and there's been 1,020 rocket barrages since September 17th, and 125 barrages this week. So barrages are 80, 90, 60. Often they're 80 and more rockets in each launch. So significant. That's the Nasser 1 you're seeing being launched there. Precision guided. This is part of Hezbollah's precision guided system project to get these weapons precision guided. And just to tack on to the end of the Lebanon front here, I want to show you the Yemeni armed forces are still at it. and they got another drone. They got another U.S. Air Force Reaper drone, drone number 12 since the battle in the Red Sea began. Drone number 15 since 2017. So they've downed 15 $30+ million MQ-9 Reaper drones from the U.S. Air Force that are flying over and attacking Yemen. And they did this one. This one was from just the other day. So up to date, 12 have been lost, and you can see it falling from the sky. And Mohammed al-Bukaiti, he's a spokesperson for Ansar Allah. He sent out a message that was just, I'm going to close on this message. He said, since October 7th, 2023 until now, not a single case of killing an Israeli child has been recorded on the resistance axis, while America has killed more than 20,000 Palestinian and Lebanese children so far. Who's the terrorist? Just a simple statement that I think we can wrap up with. When you compare the horror in Gaza and the way that Israel and the United States fight their wars, and compare them to the way that Hezbollah has fought, defending their villages without attacking civilians, without massacring civilians, which all of those rockets and missiles could do if that was their intention. It's not their intention. They're fighting an honorable fight to protect those villages. And so far, they've been successful. Israel has not invaded with a major ground maneuver into Lebanon. It has not happened. It may happen, but it has not yet happened. And Hezbollah fighters even said it today. Where are you guys in their communique? So that is the resistance report. Those videos there was many more from Hezbollah. I tried to synchronize them into some themes, but they are releasing videos constantly. I showed you every single video from the Palestinian resistance. So you are completely up to date. You didn't miss anything from us being away for a week.